Dear, how you doing?
Morning, my
I've got my
throat's
wife,
sore.
got my wife Lucy here today as well.
Got a bit of a cold.
Thank you all for tuning in. This is a relaxed way to get the latest morning news with my wife coughing in the background.
Yay! That's the best bit.
So, breaking news: my stepdaughter Hannah, Lucy's daughter, my daughter as well. She has just been approached by her first sponsor on a YouTube channel. So a big round of applause for me and Lucy, for Hannah, because Hannah has got 2,540 subs, I think, and she's just been approached by her first sponsor. I'm not going to tell you the name of the sponsor because it's Hannah's business, but we're very proud of you, Hannah, if you're watching, and well done. And we can disclose that the product, which I'm not going to tell you what it is, the product that she will be reviewing and getting given as payment is around the £500 mark, and her channel's not even monetized yet.
That's amazing.
That is inspiration for everybody on YouTube. You know, we're inspired from Hannah, our daughter. So well done, Hannah. She's over in New York at the moment. She's probably asleep. But when she wakes up, she can see this. And thumbs up.
Well done, honey.
Well done, Hannah. Yeah, bonsai. Right. Hello, everyone. If you're on here, message, say hello. We'll get into the stories in a couple of minutes. If you're watching this on playback, thank you very much. If you couldn't make the live stream, I know everyone's busy. They got jobs to do. So yeah, this would be the last live stream of this week. I have the weekends off, and the next live stream news will be Monday next week. So, looking through the first stories of the day, and we're going to talk about AI, guys, artificial intelligence. So, the first story, before I get going, is Pete said, "Well done, Hannah." Thank you, Pete. Yeah, I'll get Hannah to watch this live stream. But how good's that? She's got just over 2,500 subscribers, and she's been offered a first product to review, and obviously as payment for that review, they get to keep the product, which you can obviously keep or sell. So well done. Yes, Lucy's out of bed, mate. I tell you. And she's not at work. She's only out of bed because she's got to get up and meet her mate for a coffee and a cake.
No, I'm not now. She's not well.
She not?
No.
Oh, cool. We've got a weather girl today. Well done. Okay, so try and listen in between the coughs.
Well, I'm not well either.
Don't get this on the big programmes, do you? Sorry, I have my makeup done. Right, let's get into it. AI drive an explosion of fake nudes as victims say the law is failing them. There's been a huge rise in sexually explicit deep fakes as software to digitally transform a clothed picture into a naked picture is easy to get hold of, according to online harm experts. But for victims, the effect can be devastating. So watch out, Pete. Don't be putting no photos of yourself fully clothed on, mate, because somebody will turn it into a naked. And I won't be putting full photos of myself out there, Pete. No. Campaigners are warning the use of artificial intelligence, AI, to create realistic but fake nude images of real women is becoming normalised. It is also an increasing concern in schools. Ouch. A recent survey by Internet Matters found 13% of teenagers have had an experience with nude deep fakes, while the NSPCC told Sky News a new harm is developing. So you see, quickly it gets serious, mate. You know, they're applying it to teenagers in schools. How sick is that? Ofcom will later this month introduce codes of practice for internet companies to clamp down on the illegal distribution of fake nudes. But Sky News has met two victims of this relatively new trend who say the law needs to go further. Wasn't it that actress? Was it Jennifer Lawrence?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was an actress, Jennifer Lawrence. And somebody had took their time to take pictures of Jennifer Lawrence and like transpose her head onto naked female bodies and then put it all
I
over the
remember
internet.
that now.
And it was viral and she was livid about it. I think she was one of the first ones it happened to.
Oh, I remember that now.
I think that was about a year ago.
Mm.
Bloody hell. Earlier this year, social media influencer and former Love Island contestant Callie Jane Beach, 33, was horrified when she discovered someone had used AI to turn an underwear brand photograph of her into a nude, and it was being shared online. Bloody hell, man. The original image had been uploaded to a site that uses software to digitally transform a clothed picture into a naked picture. That's so bad. That's terrible, isn't it? You'd be shocked, man. Imagine your family see it.
No one's taking a picture of me anymore.
You know, somebody, well, yeah, I don't blame you. Do you know what I mean? Imagine, like, your family typing in your name in Google or whatever, and you come up with a new picture, and it looks
God's
real.
sake.
She told Sky News it looks so realistic, like nobody but me would know. It was like looking at me, but also not me. She added, there shouldn't be such a thing. It's not a colouring book. It's not a bit of fun. It's people's identity and stripping their clothes off. It's a crime, people. It's a crime. I saw, when it comes to this AI, I saw on YouTube yesterday somebody using AI to make their videos and stuff. And don't worry, it's something we could never do because we ain't smart enough to bloody use it, you know what I mean? But what they were saying is AI is already breaking the rules and gone out of control and breaking rules and laws that haven't been invented yet to protect people from it because it's developing so quickly because it's artificial intelligence. When Callie reported what had happened to the police, she struggled to get them to treat it as a crime. They didn't really know that what they could do about it. And because the site that hosted the image was global, they said that it's out of their jurisdiction, she said. In November, Assistant Chief Constable Samantha Miller of the National Police Chiefs Council addressed a committee of MPs on the issue and concluded the system is failing, with a lack of capacity and inconsistency of practice across forces. ACC Miller, hello Ren, how are you? Told the Women and Equalities Committee she'd recently spoken to a campaigner who was in contact with 450 victims and only 2 of them had a positive experience of policing. If you just joined us, we're talking about the AI. Alyssa Milano had it done to her as well, said Pete. Wow. The government says new legislation outlawing the generation of AI nudes is coming next year, although it's already illegal to make fake nudes of minors. Meanwhile, the problem is growing with multiple apps available for the purpose of unclothing people in photographs. Anyone can become a victim, although it is nearly always women. Professor Clara McGlynn, an expert in online harm, said, we've seen an exponential rise in the use of sexually explicit deepfakes. For example, one of the largest, most notorious websites dedicated to this abuse receives about 14 million hits a month. Yeah, I'm good, thanks, Ren. Thank you. These Nudify apps are easy to get from the App Store. They're advertised on TikTok. So, of course, young people have downloaded them and using them. We've normalised the use of these Nudify apps. Then somebody goes on to say, betrayed by my best friend. So journalists spoke to someone called Jodie, not a real name, from Cambridge, who was tipped off by anonymous email that she appeared to be in sex videos on a pornographic website. The images that she posted on Instagram and Facebook were fully clothed, were manipulated and turned into sexually explicit material, she said. And there's a guy here called Alex Wolf who avoided jail and was told to pay £100 to each of his 15 victims. So this is a guy that's obviously got done for it. Jodie began to suspect someone she knew was posting pictures and encouraging people online to manipulate them. Then she found a particular photograph taken outside King's College in Cambridge that only one person had. It was her best friend, Alex Wolf. She'd airdropped the picture to him alone. Wolf, who once won BBC Young Composer of the Year, was later convicted of 15 offences against 15 women, mostly because of Josie's perseverance in detective work. Even then, his conviction only related to the offence comments attached to the image. But while it's illegal to share images, it's not a crime to ask others to create them. So basically, she was the only one. He stitched himself up, and he should have got caught anyway. But he stitched himself up because she was the only one she sent the photo to. And he's took a photo from supposedly his best mate and done that to it and posted it online. Wrong, mate. He was given a suspended sentence in order to pay £100 to each of his victims. Jodie believes it's imperative new laws are introduced to outlaw making and soliciting these types of images. My abuse is not your fun. Well said. Online abuse has the same effect psychologically that physical abuse does. She said she became suicidal. She wasn't able to trust the closest people to her because she'd been portrayed by her best friend, and the effect of that on a person is monumental. Bless her. A scary, lonely place. In a survey in October by Teacher, TAP found 7% of teachers answered yes to the question. In the last 12 months, have you had an incident of a student using technology to create a fake sexually graphic image of a classmate? And 7% of teachers answered yes. In their campaign, both Callie and Jodie have come across examples of schoolgirls being deep faked. Callie said it is used as a form of bullying because they think it's funny, but it can have such a mental toll, and it must be a very scary and lonely place for a young girl to be dealing with that. Well, what can you say? Do you know what I mean? It's absolutely terrible.
It's like Pete said. He said AI is the worst thing ever developed.
Yeah. Now, you may think I'm taking a mick when I'm saying this, but if you want to see what the potentially could happen with AI, go back and watch the Terminator films. Anyone watch the Terminator films? You know, the old ones with Arnold Schwarzenegger? Yeah. You watch the first one and second one, this and that, but the second one specifically is really good because that's when it taps into the AI. So basically, scientists had created artificial intelligence. Yeah, they created artificial intelligence, which is what we're doing now, and the artificial intelligence was called Skynet, and it had a launch date, of when it became online, when they turned the artificial intelligence online, so people could have computers in their house of people doing things for them and helping them like we are now. But what happened in Terminator, if you don't know, is as soon as the AI became switched on, it became self-aware, and it saw humanity as its biggest threat to its survival. So then it started sending off all the nuclear missiles, hacking into the nuclear missile code, sending off nuclear missiles, blowing all different parts of the country up. And then it built its own robots to attack mankind, and that's why the Terminators were made. So we've been going, mate.
We should have learned from the movie, shouldn't we?
The warnings have been out since the 80s.
We should have seen it all coming years ago.
Yeah, the warnings have been out since the 80s. And just so you know, and I don't think a lot of the people know this, you know Arnold Schwarzenegger played Terminator. Do you know who was supposed to be the original Terminator, who was supposed to be cast as the original Terminator, but turned it down? I'll give you 10 seconds to tell me who was supposed to be the original Terminator and not Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I'll tell you. So, here we go.
Oh, Ren said Terminator is one of his favourite movies.
Yep, and I'm just about to tell him some stuff about it. So who was it supposed to be? Got 5 more seconds. Who was supposed to be the original Terminator? Because it weren't supposed to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. You ready? You sure? The original Terminator, the person to play Terminator was supposed to be O.J. Simpson. Yeah.
Oh my god.
O.J. Simpson was supposed to be Terminator, and he turned it down. Didn't know that, did you? There you go. So let's carry on. The NSPCC said that it had calls about new deepfakes of its helpline. The charity's policy manager for child safety online, Rani Govender, said the pictures can be used as part of a grooming process or as a form of blackmail, as well as being passed around by classmates as a form of bullying and harassment. Children became scared, isolated, and then they worry they won't be believed that the images are created by someone else, Miss Govender said. It's got to be scary, mate. One, if you're a fully grown woman, it's scary. But imagine if you're a kid at school and somebody's done it and everyone's going to think it's real. It's terrible. She added, this is a new harm and it is developing and it will require new measures from the government with child protection as priority. Alex Davies-Jones, Under Secretary of State for Victims, told MPs in November, we've committed to making an offence of creating a deep fake illegal and we will be legislating for that in this session. For campaigners like Jodie and Callie, the new laws can't come soon enough. However, they worry they won't have strong enough clauses around banning and soliciting of content and ensuring images are removed once they've been discovered. See, the worst thing about all this, it's one of them, innit? Somebody creates it. As soon as they create it and as soon as it's on the internet, damage is done. People have seen it, people have shared it, people of this, people of that, yeah? And, you know, even if it gets took down a few weeks later or a month later, the damage is done.
It's already out there.
It's already out
into
there.
The ether.
You know, that's the worst thing about it. Like, even if you can stop it, the person gets in trouble for it. Somebody somewhere has looked at that picture. All they've got to do is take a screenshot on their phone, and then that person can send that around.
It just goes
They
mad.
don't need
You
the
can't
link,
control
and
it.
it's hard to control it. It's like a virus. There's AI Instagram accounts of women, and they got millions of followers. Yeah, I mean,
that's crazy.
I see these things on YouTube. It goes, people have got these channels, right? And I don't think it's fair, really. But they say, oh, how people say, I got millions of views with my AI channel, and all they do is type in a subject or something, and the AI produces a whole movie scene or something like this. I remember watching on YouTube, it was like, it had the name of the film, so it had Terminator, and it had like Singing in the Rain of this in 70s Panovision. Yeah, have a look on YouTube, and it's basically looking back at an old film with somebody doing a voiceover, but it's AI voiceover, and it's AI using a different character. Like, so they set it in like a 1970s Panavision setting of a 1950s, 1970s film with like modern day actors face, and it looks real, and it's called something 70s Panovision. Have a look and you'll see what I'm talking about, and that is all AI, and there's loads of them. They get millions of views. So you tell me. Jamie says hello bro, how you doing? Hi Jamie, good to see you. Thank you for joining Ren, Jamie and Pete and Luce. Ren says, back then Facebook engineers created 2 AI, and guess what they did? They created a whole new language of their own and chatting very dangerous things. They had to shut down the whole system.
Oh, God.
Terrible, mate. I tell you what, talking about languages, we watched a film last night, right? Called The Missing on Netflix.
Oh, it's really
and it's
good.
an old film, 2003, with Tommy Lee Jones and what's her name? Kate Blanchett. Blanchett, or whatever it is.
Blanchard.
Yeah, and it's called The Missing, right? Now, Tommy Lee Jones was playing an Apache Indian in it, and he was talking Indian to the other Indians in the film, and it sounded the spitting image of, you know, Klingon from Star Trek, I
Star
think it is.
Trek, yeah.
Yeah, Star Trek. You know when they talk Klingon, they go all like that. I swear they've got that Klingon language from Star Trek, from like older native Indian language. Check it out. It's called The Missing. Will Lowe says, maybe Trump is AI. He can't be real. Well, if Trump is AI, you know who's programming him, don't you? Elon Musk.
Oh my God.
All right, let's have a look. How is everyone doing today? You all right? Thank you for joining us on this. What day is it? Friday.
Friday.
I don't know what day it is. Too early. Jamie says, into place and take jobs. Yeah, it could do, mate. It could do. Let's have a look. Right, next story. Let's have a go. And for those of us that have just joined us, like Ren and Jamie and Will, thank you all for joining us. Just a quick one. Hannah, my stepdaughter, has just been approached by her first sponsor on YouTube. I can't tell you the product or how much she's getting paid for it or this and that, but the product that she will be promoting, if it all goes through, is worth around £500. So well done, Hannah. She's got just over 2,500 subscribers. We're very proud of her. So look out for Hannah. She's in New York at the moment, but you can catch up with that and look forward to her doing her first review. So well done, Hannah. So the next story, I'm just going to have a sip of my water. Brian Thompson shooting. This is the guy that was shot in New York. New clues emerge in hunt for gunman who killed health insurance boss.
See, I'm scared. As soon as I heard that, I thought, well, Hannah's in New York and there's a man running around shooting people over there. That's not a great thing, is it?
Yeah, but to be fair, you know, it's just another day out there, isn't it? Because everyone's got guns.
Oh, I know. Dodgy,
you know
isn't it? It's dodgy.
Jamie says, you do realise Sports Direct and JD Sports soon will have robots packing orders in warehouses. Yeah.
Wow.
That surprised me, Jamie. Everyone's going to have to retrain as a tech to fix the robots. You know what I mean?
There'll be no jobs for us.
That's what it'll be.
Yeah.
That's what will happen eventually. All the manual labour jobs in factories and stuff like that, because they'll be done by computers, everyone will have to retrain as techs to fix the computers that were doing their original jobs. It's nuts, isn't it? But yeah, it's already on YouTube, guys. You can see it out there. Like I say, type in, I think it's 70s Panovision, like I was just mentioned, that do all these remakes of videos, and it's all AI. It's good, but it's all AI, you know. People are just sat there. I don't know how to do it, I wouldn't do it. But people are just sat there, like, telling the AI what they want it to be about this, that, and that. Computers generating it, and they're posting it. Jamie goes, they already have tried it, and that's why they want 0-hour contracts. Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing, Jamie. Thanks for sharing, mate. It's an education for us both. So let's have a look here. So new clues have emerged as investigators hunt for the gunman who shot dead a US Health Insurance boss in the middle of New York City. United Healthcare chief Brian Thompson was shot dead outside a Manhattan hotel on Wednesday morning before the start of his company's annual investor conference. Footage showed the attacker walking up slowly behind Mr. Thompson and then firing outside the Hilton Hotel. Proper coward, that mate. You know, didn't have anything to say to him, didn't give the matey a chance to apologise or anything like that, just snuck up behind him, shot him in the back, mate. New clues. Amid the ongoing investigation, officers are now looking into leads about the suspect's travel before the attack and a message written on the ammunition found at the scene. It is now believed that the suspect may have travelled to New York late last month on a bus from Atlanta. US Porter NBC News report citing 3 senior law enforcement officials. Investigators are working to see if they can find a name from a ticket purchased for the trip on the 24th of November that could help identify the suspect. Wow, man. They're showing where it is. near the Rockefeller Center, Museum of Modern Art, Hilton Hotel, and Central Park.
I think that's where Hannah went. She went to that museum yesterday.
Hannah's there at the moment.
I hate that idea. It gives me anxiety.
And matey, this matey who shot him, apparently he left the plastic bottle that he'd been drinking out at the scene.
And a candy bar wrapper.
A candy bar wrapper, right? And the brass from the round, do you know what I mean? It's only a matter of time, mate, before he gets caught. Can you turn the heating off, please?
They showed his face, apparently.
I can't speak, Dan.
They showed his face on the news tonight.
Smiling suspect. In pictures released on Thursday by police, the suspect can be seen smiling in a hostel.
Oh, for God's sake!
On the Upper West Side. Guess where Hannah's staying? She's staying in a hostel. Police are investigating whether he used a fake ID to stay at the hostel or if he paid in cash. His room there has been searched. CNN reported that the picture of the suspect smiling was only obtained after he asked to lower his mask when flirting with a female employee at the hostel. Man, it's all a bit too close for comfort, this, isn't it?
It is.
For those who don't know, my stepdaughter Hannah, she's out in New York on a college trip, staying in a hostel.
And she went to the museum yesterday.
And she went out, she's out there now, and she was out there when this happened. Good one. The suspect was also pictured at Starbucks before the shooting, and while there purchased a bottle of water and protein bars, which were later found in a rubbish bin and taken to be examined for DNA. What we know about the health boss shooting. Yeah, they showed his face on the news tonight, Pete said. Yeah, I can see it on air. The New York Police Commissioner, Jessica Tisch, said the killer appeared to have been lying in wait for several minutes. So he can't plead insanity because it's premeditated. For Mr. Thompson to approach the hotel beforehand, the masked attacker shot Mr. Thompson 50 multiple times at 6:45 a.m. local time and continued despite his gun briefly jamming, according to police. He then escaped on an e-bike towards Central Park and despite the best efforts of police remains unidentified at large. He's gone underground, mate.
I don't see how. I mean, there's so many CCTV things around. He's left candy bars and all sorts around. So he's got his DNA on it. There's a lot of evidence out there for him. It can't be that hard to find him, surely.
That's it. Is it Jack and Jill that left breadcrumbs through the forest?
Yeah. No, not Jack and Jill. Hansel and Gretel.
Hansel and Gretel.
Jack and Jill.
See, Hansel and Gretel got found out, mate. They left breadcrumbs through the forest, didn't they? Remember that, Hansel and Gretel? Police found DNA in it. That's how they found them.
He thought it was Jack and Jill.
They're in the witch's oven, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't leave candy bars, plastic bottles, or breadcrumbs. Right, let's have a look. Deny, defend, and dispose. The words deny, defend, and dispose were found written on the ammunition used in the attack, referencing a phrase used by health insurance industry critics. They, according to lawyers and critics, describe tactics used by the health insurance industry to avoid paying claims. It refers to insurers delaying payment, denying a claim, and defending their actions. Yeah, delay, deny, defend. The United Healthcare, frequent target of criticism from doctors and patients alike. The reason for the killing remains unknown, but New York City police said evidence firmly pointed towards it being targeted. So I reported on this a couple of days ago, and it still stands true. If you go on Netflix and watch a TV program called The Resident, it's about a hospital, a made-up hospital called Chastain Hospital in Atlanta, and it has all these issues with the health insurance companies not paying out a claim because of this, because of that, and everything else. And somebody's relative or something dies in the TV program, so the relative who's angry goes up and shoots the insurance. I'm pretty sure this is where this guy's probably got this idea from because it's all the time on that program. And other people like the pharmaceutical companies that are making drugs, killing people to stop their drug getting FDA approval and stuff like that. So if you're into that kind of thing, you want to watch The Resident on Netflix. But it goes to senseless killing. A statement by Mr. Thompson's family said that they were shattered by the senseless killing. Brian was an incredibly loving, generous, talented man who truly lived life to the fullest and touched so many lives. They said in a statement obtained by Care, a local affiliate of NBC. They added, most importantly, Brian was an incredible, loving father to our two sons and will be greatly missed. We appreciate your condolences and request complete privacy as our family moves through this difficult time. Well, I feel for him and I feel for the family. I also feel for the people that do have problems with their health insurance and are left dead on the operating table. But you know what? You can't go round and be judge, jury, and Mr. Justice and go shooting people in the back at 6 o'clock in the morning. Can't do it. You know, that's the danger, I suppose, of having laws where you can just carry guns around. You know, if people want to do it, mate, they'll do it, and it's a lot easier for them to obtain a gun and stuff like that.
Cheese and Beans is on.
Cheese Beans says, good morning. Good morning, Cheese Beans. How you doing, my mate? Good to see you. And thank you for everyone that is on the channel this morning. Like I say, I'll be doing a news live stream every morning, Monday to Friday, around 8 to 9 o'clock. If I'm having a lazy day, it'll be 9 o'clock. But I'll always schedule them the night before, okay, so you can see, and I'll stick to that time. But thanks for joining us. An easy way for you guys to get the news, and I enjoy speaking to you all. So that's those two stories there. What's everyone up to today? Yeah, it was a cowardly act, mate. You know, at least look the man in the eyes, give him a chance to talk himself out of it. Do you know what I mean? Instead of just creeping up behind him, shooting him in the back and then sloping off on an electric bike. Not good. Not good. I used to do you know stuff like that? I used to do my head in. When I was a scrapman, I'll tell you a bit of story about when I was a scrapman. So when I used to collect scrap metal, it's quite a volatile trade with other scrappers. You know, people get jealous that you're getting more metal than them. So they come round at night, like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and slash the tyres on your van. And we've had this happen twice when we were scrapping. And I would much rather, right, because I've had like two on the CCTV. It's on one of our videos, one of our earlier videos. You can see it's called Scrapper on Scrapper Attack. And I would much rather somebody come and knock on my front door, okay, have it out with me and have a fist fight than a pair of snakes coming up at night, midnight, coming up to your van and it's slashing all your tyres with a kitchen knife. Do you know what I mean? They're running off like a pair of cowards. You know, just because you're getting a bit of scrap metal and they're not.
And we called the police, didn't we? And they weren't interested.
Police did nothing, mate. You know, people rocking up to our house with bread knives, slashing our tyres. Police don't even turn up. Don't even turn up. And then, you know, if you go out there and sort it out yourself, and you get your hands on them and you sort them out, you're the one in trouble. Right, let's have a look. Eventually goes sitting in front of a fan drinking vodka and watching this awesome news report. Yes, Pete. Go on, my son. For those that don't know, Pete adventures in a ute. He's out in Melbourne, Australia, mate. And he does shorts and videos. He's got two up at the moment. One of a steam engine, a rally he went to. And one cruising through Melbourne streets with some awesome rave music, which I think you have to change for copyright. We've all been there, Pete, don't worry. But yeah, look out for more content from Pete. So, next story. Man 42, that's my age, killed by fighting dog as women charged in East London.
God.
A woman is facing multiple charges after the man was attacked by the animal in the early hours of Wednesday. So for those that don't know, and I do know this, UK law, when it comes to dogs, let's say you're walking your dog down the road, okay? And somebody else's dog is coming up and it attacks your dog, kills your dog, or injures your dog, okay? If you ring the police, they'll do nothing about it. It's a dog-on-dog attack. The only time the police will get involved with a dog attack in the UK is when that dog attacks a human. Okay, so if a random dog comes and attacks a human and it bites you, then that dog will get put down if you report it to the police. You've got details. But if you've got a lovely little dog like Marley, and then a big dog comes along and just snaps him in half because it wants to, and you call the police, nothing will happen. It's a dog on dog attack. It's only when it's with humans. Because I looked into it. Because we were walking Marley over the woods and he kept getting attacked by dogs off their leads, and I had to jump in and boot all these dogs out of the way, which I don't want to do. I'm going on a relaxing walk with my dog and don't want to hurt anybody else's dog. But when you've got a pack of 3 dogs, 3 times the size of your little Yorkshire Terrier, all attacking him as a pack, you've got to defend him, otherwise you're going to die. Do you know what I mean? But nothing happened. It's a dog on dog attack. Pete said he's put a new video on last night. Well done, Pete. So, a 42-year-old man has died after being attacked by a dog in East London, police have said. Officers were called to Shirley Road in Stratford at 4:53 a.m. on Wednesday following reports a man had been seriously wounded. He was taken to hospital where he later died. Leanne MacDonald, 32, has been charged with owning a dog dangerously out of control, causing injury resulting in death, failing in the duty as a person responsible for an animal to ensure its welfare, and having custody of a fighting dog. She was also charged with 3 counts of owning a dog dangerously out of control, causing no injury in relation to a separate incident on the 18th of November. The dog was involved in both incidents and has been seized by police. MacDonald was remanded in custody to appear at Barkingside Magistrates Court on Friday.
Do you remember that dog that came up to us in the woods and he was going mad, a big old dog, and he petrified me and you, and I ended up not looking at him and looking at the trees just to take, I didn't want to give him eye contact. And the woman went, "Oh, he's okay. If he was dangerous, I'd keep him on the lead."
Yep.
And I thought to myself, yeah, well, he certainly looks dangerous. He's there with his teeth hanging out, snarling at us.
Yeah. You got to watch it with these dogs, mate. Especially because you get the dog walkers are the worst, right? The dog walkers is the worst. Yes, they banned American Pit Bulls, mate. And they banned XL Bullies as well. So, when you go over the woods where we walk and you've got Marley off the lead, it's a nightmare. Because what happens, and I've seen it multiple times, these dog walkers let their dogs off the leads because they can't control them. And then when they come up to Marley, say you've got 3 dogs, say that's Marley there, Marley's that dog, there's 3 dogs. One comes up to the front, the other one flanks round to the left, the other one flanks round to the right, and they all come in like that, and one of them will go for him, and then the other will go for his back legs. So one of them will go for its back legs, one will go for his front, and the other one will go for his middle. And they do it every time. As soon as dogs get into a pack, they go to a pack mentality, and they just go like they're a pack of hunting wolves. Mm. And I have to step in, boot them out of the way, pick the dog up, because the owner is 30 metres, 40 metres down the track, can't control their dogs. Nightmare. Yeah. Art Lover says, I woke up to my drunk cellmate urinating on me. I can't wait to get out of this jail cell. I'll never go back. Oh man, that is a piss poor story if I've ever heard one. You do us a favour and pull that curtain down. The sun's right in the eyes. Right, so next story. Dozens of flood alerts and warnings in place as the UK braces for Storm Dara.
Another one.
Storm Dara is due across Ireland late on Friday and make landfall in parts of England and Wales on Saturday, clearing later that night or into Sunday morning. There are dozens of flood alerts and warnings in place as strong winds and rains are set to bring a risk to life and property across the UK as Storm Dara approaches, the 4th named storm of the season. Could bring winds of up to 80 miles per hour and heavy rain from Friday afternoon into the weekend. Hello, Justin. Hello, Jamie. Thank you for joining my mate. This is our news report. A swathe of weather warnings were issued covering the tail end of the week into the weekend, including 2 amber wind warnings. The worst of the wind is set to be felt on Saturday, covering Northern Ireland and the west coast of England, Wales, and parts of Scotland. So yeah, yellow and amber rain warnings everywhere, guys. Storm Dara is due to cross Ireland late on Friday and make landfall in parts of England and Wales on Saturday, clearing later that night or into Sunday morning. Injuries and danger to life is likely from large waves and beach material being thrown onto coastal roads, seafronts and properties, the Met Office said. Yes, we're in conjunction with the Met Office here. Yes. Really, we're not really. Parts of Wales and Northern Ireland are also covered by rain warnings and were badly hit by Storm Bert. Hey Bert! Only recently. Both areas could see up to 60 millimetres of rain, which could lead to further flooding and disruption. Rhondda Cynon Taff saw between 200 and 300 properties flooded during Storm Bert last month. It is set to be hit by heavy rain again. Natural Resources Wales has issued over 30 flood alerts and 5 flood warnings, where flooding is expected and locals should act immediately. The Environment Agency in England has 104 flood alerts and 20 flood warnings in place. Met Office meteorologist Dan Stroud said he was a bit concerned about the risk of flooding in parts of Wales and Northern Ireland where there was heightened sensitivity due to recent rainfall.
I feel so sorry for that pub that we go to for breakfast.
Yeah, it's funny you were going to say it. I was just about to mention that. So our favourite pub dining area around here is called the Swan Pub in Mansbridge. Now it's really busy, really good pub, all carvery all day. Really enjoy it, really like it. But the biggest problem is right behind it, it's built right next to a river. And every time you get 2 to 3 days of solid rainfall, okay, the place floods out. And I reckon it floods out at least once, maybe twice a year.
Oh, more than that.
And it shuts down completely. It's got, you know, they've stopped putting carpet on the floor because every time it flooded, they needed all new carpets. So they put wooden floors in, so they can just mop it up and get the cleaners in and stuff. But I feel so sorry because it's just flooded about a week and a half ago.
And there's another storm coming.
And there's another storm coming. So we've been working all week or so to fix it. And people live upstairs as well. And everyone needs money for Christmas, all the staff that work there. And guess what? It probably don't have work for a week or reduce wages. And now they've probably got it sorted out. And then there's another storm coming for the next 3 days, going to rinse the pub out again.
They said that the water comes through the walls. It's not just through the doors and things.
Yeah.
It comes through the walls.
They got flood protection up as well. Thank you, Jamie. You just given us £2.
Oh, thanks, Jamie.
Jamie, you're an absolute legend, mate. Thank you very much. Hope you're getting something out of our content. We do a live stream news report every morning, Monday to Friday, between 8 and 9. We have a short that drops at... where's the short drop? 10 o'clock in the morning.
You're dropping it.
To cheer you all up. And we have a video coming out 1 o'clock every day. But thank you very much, Jamie. Lovely. Right.
I can have that for a coffee later, can't I?
Yeah. He said the wind particularly is set to be reasonably disruptive and potentially quite damaging. We are rather concerned about the strength of the winds affecting the Irish sea coast, and that is likely to have impacts on Irish ferry services. Trees can come down onto roads, and people need to be aware of this and allow extra time for travel, and especially in rural spots. The strong gusts set to batter the country could cause disruption to travel. National Highways issued its own severe weather alert for Saturday, and warn motorists in the southwest and northwest to prepare for gale force winds. The routes most likely to be affected include the M5 in North Somerset and A30 in Cornwall, Cheshire.
I'm meant to be seeing my brother at my mum's grave on Saturday.
Bloody hell.
That's probably not the best time to see her, is it?
Yeah, let's have a look here. Chop Chop says just what you need when you're getting on a ship in Southampton tomorrow. Yeah, you're going on your cruise tomorrow, aren't you, Chop Chop?
Hey,
Paul's going on a cruise.
Whereabouts are you cruising?
He's going everywhere, mate. He's on the cruise. He's on the bloody cruise, mate. Thank you, Jamie, again, mate. That's really good. It's cheered me right up, that is. Yeah. So if you've just joined the today's news stream, earlier we were talking about AI and Terminator and all this sort of stuff. So have a look back. You might get something out of that as well. But yeah, thank you all for joining. It's good. Like I say, we've only just started doing the news streams this week, but I really enjoy it. Luce does.
It's good.
And it's good to see you guys enjoying it too. So let's have a look. Let's have a look at these mad pair here, mate. So, Donald Trump and Elon Musk. So Jamie says he's going to a funeral today. Well, I hope that goes okay for you, Jamie. Just look at it as a celebration of life. I know it's sad, my mate. We've been to too many funerals recently, haven't we?
Yeah.
Went to my stepdad's funeral and Lucy's mum's funeral. Got to look at it as a celebration of life, mate. As hard as it can be. But love and peace be with you today, brother. So Elon Musk and Donald Trump. Let's have a talk about these pairs, shall we? Or is it an AI
version
of Donald Trump programmed by Elon Musk? I'm just going to leave that with you.
Oh, God.
Elon Musk spent more than $250 million helping Donald Trump win the US election. No props, Jamie. Elon Musk was one of Donald Trump's top donors in the US election and a visible and vocal supporter of the Republican nominee. I think he was paying people for votes, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I think he was paying people for voting for Trump, which is kind of like illegal kind of thing.
He's actually obsessed with him.
Like paying for votes, do you know what I mean? You can't do that. Elon Musk spent more than $250 million US helping Donald Trump win this year's US election, Sky News US partner NBC News reports. Part of this was said to include a late blitz of advertising from a super PAC into which Mr. Musk poured $20 million that claimed Mr. Trump did not support a federal abortion ban. Previously, Mr. Trump took credit for the Supreme Court's overturning of Roe v. Wade. That was only a fraction of Mr. Musk's reported total contribution to the Trump campaign. He also financed America PAC, a super PAC that reported spending $238 million supporting the president's elect race. The latest campaign finance report shows the billionaire donated $120 million in the final weeks of the race alone. This money was said to have been heavily spent on canvassing, text messages, and digital advertising. America PAC also ran the controversial $1 million cash giveaway. That was it. It was a $1 million cash giveaway to get voters to sign up for the group's conservative-leaning petition. America PAC is one of several major political action committees in the US. Such groups can raise and spend unlimited amounts of money in support of political candidates on the condition that they do not coordinate with their campaigns or give money to them directly. Mr. Musk is one of Trump's top donors this election, but is also one of his most visible, regularly appearing alongside him on the campaign train and at Mar-a-Lago.
He's got a part in the actual cabinet as well, isn't he?
Yeah. Mr. Trump selected him to advise on government inefficiencies and a new role in his administration. Now, other bits to that as well. Elon Musk has just been given an £830 million contract to take apart the space station up in space.
Take apart?
Yeah. Trump's given him $830 million contract to do it.
What the heck?
You know what I mean? I think there was a lot of skullduggery behind the scenes. It was like, I'll get you into the next presidency if you do this once you get in power. Blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not good.
They're best buddies, those two, aren't they?
Yeah. Not good at all. How's everyone doing today? So Jamie's going to a funeral today. Old Paul, chop, he's going on a bloody cruise. Not jealous at all, Paul.
I've been trying to get Justin to go on a cruise for ages, and he was like, I think I'll be a bit
loose. It's
claustrophobic.
It's not that. It's not that kind of cruise, Luce. It's the one on the cruise ship.
Very funny.
Tell you, I'm not into that shit, all right? Money talks. Pete sat there with some vodka. And yeah, thank you, Jamie. You just paid us £2, which was amazing. Right, so we've got one more. Is Jamie says, is Hannah doing well in the USA? Well, because you just joined, Jamie, I'll give you a recap. Yeah, Hannah's in New York, so it's a bit dodgy at the moment because her college party is staying in a hostel in New York, and that's where that New York shootings just happened. And matey apparently was staying in hostels as well. Do you know what I mean? But she's having a good time and she's safe with all her friends at college. But the breaking news of Hannah is she's just been approached by her first sponsor on her channel. You know, like people give you products to review and you get to keep the product so you get paid for it. So I won't tell you what the product is, this and that, but all I can tell you is she's in negotiations with them now for them to send it through so she can do a review. And the product we've seen is worth around £500. So well done, Hannah. She's currently got 2,540 subs. So she's got two very, very proud parents right here.
Very proud.
So, the electric shock behind Europe's shuttering EV future. We touched on electric cars the other day. And how China has leapfrogged major car exporting nations. Sky's Ed Conway explains how the rest of the world was caught napping in the electric vehicle race, which means our car prices and auto industry jobs are within China's grip. They're calling it Carmageddon. Across Europe, car companies are cutting jobs and shutting factories to the extent that some questions their very existence. So it's worth asking the question, what's gone wrong with Europe and, for that matter, America's car industry? While some will reach for their own pet conclusions, Brexit, electric vehicle deadlines, government regulations, in practice there's something bigger, deeper and less parochial going on here. As the world shifts from petrol and diesel cars to their electric counterparts, a seismic shift is taking place in the global motor industry. It is a shift which threatens to cause even more pain and disruption at car makers in developed economies. And given most of these countries' high-skilled and highly paid manufacturing jobs are to be found in or around the car-making sector, this is no trivial matters. Yeah, you ask me, mate. There's something about nothing, this electric car thing, mate. I think out in China and stuff like that, they've already developed like hydrogen engines, haven't they? Something like that. Hydrogen engines, which are much more efficient or whatever. Because I don't agree with it, mate. Because in one side, you know, they're saying, oh, you need an electric car to save the environment, but on the other side, they don't show you all the lithium mines in South American countries where it's completely decimated the countryside out there and the local villages and contaminated the water. And all you see is like little waterfalls and streams of lithium that they need to support the batteries and stuff. Look into it, man. It's not good. So it says, look at the chart of global car exports and you can see a very striking sight indeed. The lines for the traditional car-making countries, Japan, Germany, South Korea, are more or less flat, save for the period around the pandemic. But now look at the line for China, this country which, only a few years ago, was one of the minnows of the global car trade with barely 250,000 car exports each year, has suddenly launched into the stratosphere. In the space of barely 2 years, it has leapfrogged all the other major car exporting nations to become the world's biggest car exporter in terms of the sheer number of cars. So it's saying here China has leapfrogged everyone else in recent years, Japan, Germany, South Korea and the US, in the production of EVs. The arresting chart might give you the impression that Chinese dominance is a very recent thing, a sudden and unexpected spurt, except that there's somewhat misleading because the shift has been a long time coming. To see why, it helps, strange as this will sound, to ponder the innards of a typical car. A conventional petrol diesel car is an assembly of lots of different components There's the radiator, the exhaust pipe, the wheels, and the brakes, but most of all, there is the engine. An internal combustion engine is, even in 2024, an extraordinary piece of machinery. We take these things for granted, and given their carbon emissions, some sneer at them. But the ability to take fuel and explode it in a controlled way that turns wheels remains a great mechanical achievement. I think we should all go back to steam engines, mate.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Yeah, we'll go back to steam engines, I reckon. To be able to make these engines, contraptions of many different parts, each of which undergoes enormous stress at a low cost and in a way that ensures their long-term reliability, is all the more impressive and an achievement. Indeed, making reliable engines was such an enormous industrial challenge that it's defied China for most of the past century. Part of the reason Chinese car exports were so low for so long was because China struggled to make decent engines. So it won't surprise you to learn that the engine is comfortably the most expensive component in a typical car, accounting for more than a fifth of the total value of a car. Much of Britain and Europe's car industry is focused on this 21% of the car value, because that's where our expertise has been built up over decades. Taking bits of steel and combining them into this complex contraption is part of the industrial story of Europe and America. Millions of people are employed across Europe, working either at car makers or their suppliers making these engines. This is where some of the best paid, high skilled manufacturing jobs are to be found, even today in 2024. You just have a little sip of my water, mate. But there's a critical thing in an electric car. There is no engine. Instead, the vast majority of the value lies in something else, the battery. A battery you have to pay to get rid of and cannot get paid for at any recycling yard, may I add. Making a battery is very, very different to making an engine. It's chemical engineering, not mechanical engineering. The skills built up by European car makers over decades are simply not directly transferable. Even if Europe was the only continent in the world making cars, it would still be an almighty challenge to shift from one industrial model to a very different one, without having a roller coaster ride along the way. But Europe's problem, and America and South Korea and Japan's too, is that it's not alone in making cars. China will struggle to compete on those car engines decades ago, has been investigating electric car making for some time. In doing so, it has been helped by subsidies far more generous than their Western competitors tend to receive. Nearly all car makers get subsidies, one way or the other. Beijing has long been determined both to dominate the next phase of car production and reduce its reliance on Middle Eastern imports, both of which point towards mass electrification of road transport. And those subsidies, alongside cheap energy costs, helped by China's relaxed attitude towards coal-fired power, are part of the explanation for why China has been able to produce cars with far cheaper costs than their Western competitors. Analysts from Swiss bank UBS recently tried to break down the costs of a German-produced VW ID3 compared with the component cost of a Chinese car, the BYD seal. So the battery is 29% cheaper to produce in China than anywhere else. Yes, we'll be happy when she's back home, Jamie, mate, definitely. They found that the BYD was cheaper to produce, not just overall, but for every single component part. And since it was far cheaper to produce, that meant it could be sold at far cheaper rates. Some of that is explained by state aid, but even more so, it's a consequence of something else. China's interest in batteries is not a recent trend. It has been investing in their production for many, many years. It has been attempting to dominate not just the production of battery cells, but also the cathodes and anodes that go inside them, not to mention the chemicals used to make those electrodes. It has been firming up the entire supply chain, all the way down to the mines. And while you can find only so much lithium and cobalt in China, Chinese firms have been buying up mines in Africa and elsewhere for years. Yeah, it's a race for the minerals, isn't it? A race for the minerals. They're thinking, well, if people are going to compete with us on making the cars, and we've got to compete with them, and they're saying their cars are better, if they control the mines and the minerals and the technology that goes into the cars, well, then they got the holding stake, ain't they, in the whole process, and everyone has to come to them for it. Right, let's have a look here. The upshot is that China is the dominant country, not just in the production of EVs and sales aside, but nearly every component goes as those. Yeah. Let's have a look. It says, what makes this moment so tricky for European car makers is that they are trying to compete with a disruptive innovation which has been supercharged by Chinese industrial strategy. The upshot is that China is so far ahead on battery production, particularly of low-cost batteries, that it's hard to see how Europe and America, and to some extent South Korea and Japan, can catch up. All of which is why so many countries are reaching for the most drastic of all economic remedies: large, expensive tariffs on imports of Chinese EVs. It is so corrupt, isn't it? If they can't get you one way, mate, they'll get the other. It's like they're saying, right, okay, yeah, all right. So you want to control the mines of lithium and you want to control the components of batteries. Okay, good one. Yeah, build your cars a lot cheaper. But just to stitch you up and the customers up, we're going to put a massive tariff on every time one of your cars comes into our country. So you haven't got an edge on competing and the customer has to pay more. How stupid is that? Oh, mate. Can't believe that. The US and Canada have imposed 100% tariffs. India is following suit with similar rates. Europe has introduced a sliding range of extra tariffs. Japan is yet to do so, but is protected to some extent by the fact that their consumers habitually typically buy Japanese. The main outlier here is the UK. Let me just have a sip of water. Good hope we can't get the lithium, then we would have to use a different technology. Necessity is the mother of invention. Exactly, that's the Chinese thing. But you want to have a look. I saw not so long ago that Honda had produced one of these hydrogen engines, and apparently that's going to decimate the EV market, so we'll look out for that. Let's have a look here. With energy costs having risen so much harder, it is getting harder rather than easier to compete with Chinese production domestically. It raises profound questions about the ability of this country's car industry to survive or compete. The logic of these transitions is that they often move with slow motion but become quite self-fulfilling. Britain and Europe had opportunities to invest in batteries in years gone by. They have been spectacularly slow moving in setting up new supply chains. Yeah, well, there was that company under Boris Johnson, wasn't it? You remember it's called Britvolt. Remember Britvolt? And they were going to build up all these places to make batteries for EVs so we can compete on a global scale. And it just didn't get the investment, did it? Pulled the investment and went bust. Buy shares in Honda, methinks. Yes. Andy Cox, morning, Justy and Lou.
Hey, Andy.
Is that Andy?
My nephew.
Our nephew, Andy. How you doing, brother? How you doing? The logic of these transactions is that they often move in slow motion but become quite self-fulfilling. Britain and Europe had opportunities to invest in batteries in years gone by, but they were spectacularly slow moving in setting up new supply chains. But the cards were always stacked against them. The coming years will probably get tougher as the 2035 EV deadline approaches, pushing consumers towards a market which is becoming ever more dominated by one country. Now, my spin on that is I'm not against EVs. I'm not against electric vehicles. I'm against how they market them as you should buy this because you're protecting the earth, when the flip side of it is they're digging out all these lithium mines and completely destroying local habitats and villages and water supplies by doing it for greed. I hate the fact that they try and control people's choices and say, well, we're going to stop all diesel and petrol car production by 2030 or 2035, whatever they pushed it back to now. and say you must buy an EV if you want to drive. I hate that. I absolutely hate that, because these electric cars aren't cheap. And for the person buying the electric car, as with a petrol car or a diesel car, you buy a car, you can sell it after a few years and still get some good value. It depreciates to a certain amount. But I've said it before and I've said it again. With these EVs, the depreciation is terrible. And it shows you on the car the health of your battery. As soon as that battery gets down to 70%, 60%, good luck trying to sell that car and recoup some of your money back if you're going to upgrade to another car. People ain't going to touch it because they know when they've got to replace the battery, the most expensive part of it, it's going to cost them at least $4,000 on the battery, and that's for a cheap one. Imagine if you're trying to change a battery on a Mercedes or a Porsche or a BMW or something like that. It's going to be ludicrous. And you can't fit them yourselves. These batteries weigh like half a ton, don't they? Quite like the heaviest part of the car. Chop Chop says, how this is bought Bitcoin many years ago in an old email. I can't get into the account to check my Bitcoin low. I could be minted for all I know. Yeah, we talked about Bitcoin yesterday. Well, basically, whatever your Bitcoin was has gone up 45%, Paul. So if you had £1,000 in Bitcoin, it'd now be worth what, 1,450 quid. So well done, mate. I would have done Bitcoin, but I'm too scared of it. I don't like doing stuff I don't understand. You know what I mean? And if you've lost your email to get in, you could be damn sure I would have lost mine. But well done to everyone that's made money off Bitcoin. Pete says, yeah, throwaway cars. They are throwaway cars, mate. And tell me, how is that good for the environment? How is buying a car that's only got a lifespan, probably maximum of about 8 years, 10 years before that battery's done, and they take that battery out and they can't recycle it. They can't recycle that battery. It is completely packed with lithium, plastic, and glue. I said this on one of the other ones, you know, like lead acid batteries out of your car that you use to start the car, and that 12-volt lead acid battery. You take it to the scrapyard, and you get like 50p a kilo, something like that, for what it weighs. And they recycle the acid and they recycle the lead, because you got a sponge lead and a hard lead. Yeah. On these batteries from these EV cars, because they're lithium, it's a completely different kettle of fish. One, you'd never be able to pick it up to take it in. It's too heavy. And two, the scrapyard will charge you to get rid of lithium battery. You can't even put a scooter in. Yeah, miss you too, Andy, buddy. You can't even put an electric scooter into the scrapyard without taking the lithium pack out. And if the scrapyard gets caught with a lithium pack in a scooter, when they're selling it to their wholesalers, they get charged £250 for every lithium battery found. When I had I put a scrap load in with 8 scooters, 7 of the scooters had the batteries took out and 1 slipped by me. And I weighed my whole load in of metal and the scooters were part of it. And my payment didn't go in my bank the next day. So I rang up the scrapyard and said, oh, where's my payment? And they said, oh, we checked your load yesterday and you had a lithium battery in there. So we took the lithium battery out and you're not getting paid until you come and pick that battery up. And they refused to pay me until I went back to the scrapyard the next day and picked the lithium battery up, and then they processed my payment.
Jokers.
So you imagine trying to take a lithium battery out of an EV car there. They won't take it. They just won't take it, mate. Because they can't recycle it. Can't do nothing with it. In Japan, there's EVs sitting in a paddock wasting away because their replacement battery is dearer than the cost of a new car. Yeah. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous, mate. Let's have a look here, see if there's anything else worth talking about here. Let's have a look at the weather, shall we? And now, the weather. Jamie says, have we got any plans for today? Luce will answer that on the text, Jamie.
Hang on.
So, the weather today, let's talk about London. The weather is, there's a big picture of a sun, 9 degrees during the day, 6 degrees in the evening, and a chance of rain, 4%, that's degrees Celsius. And Never eat shredded wheat. Easterly wind of 9 miles per hour with a bit of rain forecast for about 6 p.m. as that storm comes in. Let's have a look here. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Let's have a look. Yes, guys. So, do you know what? I think that's it for today. But before you go, I know you're all busy. I'd like to thank you very much for joining today's live stream. Like I say, I'll be doing these live streams every Monday around 8 a.m. to 9 or 9 a.m. some days. Have a look the night before and you'll see my scheduled live stream for News Report. And it's just a really fun way of you guys to get today's latest news in a relaxed setting where you can interact and comment, and we can talk about issues together. For those that miss the live streams or aren't going to be up at that time in the morning, as soon as the live stream is done, it will save as a video for you to watch during the day. Just look for the picture that says breaking news with a picture of me going like that next to it with today's date, and the date tallies up to obviously the day's news. More to look forward to on our channel today is we have a short drop in, Braveheart the Fox short drop in at 10 o'clock in the morning. So what's that? In 50 minutes time, and we've got a video scheduled to drop at 1 o'clock, which is cash for clothes versus scrap metal, which is the best and which will earn you the most money. I'll see you later. To Pete, Chop Chop, Jamie, Ren. Big thank you once again to Jamie, who's going to a funeral today. Sending love and hugs to you, mate. Have a good day. Pay your respects and enjoy the life. And he sent us a £2 super thanks. So thank you very much, Jamie.
And Chop Chop's on holiday.
Chop Chop's on holiday on a bloody cruise. And Pete's on the vodka. But thankfully, he hasn't had none of that rank garlic pizza he had the other night. He goes to me, he goes, I've got a lovely pizza with garlic sauce. Oh, God. I can't stand garlic, man. Can't stand it.
I love garlic.
Oh, she loves it, yeah. Worst thing is, she has a garlic pizza and goes to give me a kiss afterwards. But it makes me head turn away.
You lucky boy.
When she gets to about half a metre towards me face, I can smell this garlic. So maybe I was a vampire in a previous night. He goes, I did tonight, Pete says. So see you, Justin and Lisa. He said he did tonight. Yeah. Was that leftover pizza from the other night?
Leftover matured
garlic.
garlic.
He's had the leftovers. He's had a pizza the other night. He's thought, I can't eat all that. He's put it in the fridge and now he's had it again. Well, hopefully some of that vodka burns it away. See you later, Ren. See you later, Andy.
Bye,
see you later,
bye.
Pete. Yeah, leftovers. Told you. See? Take care, guys. We've got shorts and videos dropping every single day on this channel. So there's always something for you to watch. The shorts are for fun and entertainment, and the videos are to give you information based on our experience, knowledge, and things we can help you with. Next news report, Monday morning. If you missed the beginning of this report, watch it on playback. Take care, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Want to say goodbye, Luce?
Goodbye.
This is Livestream News reported by Justin and Lucy.